Courtney. I design sewing patterns for women and children, and today I thought it would be fun to show you what I've made the past couple years for myself and more recently for my daughter. So I'm going to show you what I've made and what I'm working on now. First, I made this black top a few years ago. It's actually the top version of a dress that I'll show you in a little bit. I love the crop of it, where it fits above my jeans, and it's so easy to throw on, which you'll learn throughout me talking about all of the things that I've made, that my stipulations are that it needs to be easy to throw on, that it needs to be breezy and make me feel like myself, and this top is just that. So next is the dress version of the top I was just talking about, and this was something that I made in the beginning of starting to design for Rooney sewing patterns. I made this because I wanted to start the design process and figure out what I wanted to make for Rooney. And so I made this dress because my family was going on a vacation and I wanted to have some photos of my daughter and me. The linen that I made it out of is thicker. It's maybe a little too thick, but overall I still wear it. It's easy to throw on with a slip underneath, and I like how simple it is. I like the sleeves of it, and it didn't end up being a pattern, but the Betty dress was derived from a version of this dress. Cool to see how it has evolved and kind of the marker of when I started working on Rooney. This little tie top is made out of a cotton gauze, and I love it because when you wash it, the gauze just gets softer and it becomes more textured. And I think this is actually fabric you might use for like a baby blanket, but it's white and it's simple, so I thought it worked well for this top. It's super summery and breezy. I would probably make it again and make it a little bit bigger, but overall it was a fun project. You can do this in the afternoon. I will link the pattern that I used below for it. This next dress was one that I made when my daughter was very young. I had this vision of a denim dress that was white and frayed at the bottom. So I self-drafted this dress. It was one of the first dresses that I've made and drafted myself. And I think it was the first time I ever used darts, and so it's definitely not perfect, but I do love this dress. It is easy to throw on. It has pockets, which is always a plus, and I like how the bottom is still frayed because it's a cleaner silhouette and maybe a little bit more classic or feminine, and the fray at the bottom in the denim material just adds that character that I'm looking for in dresses, because I want my dresses to look easygoing and breezy and not too structured or put together. I think this dress married a lot of the styles that I like together, and so it was fun to work on this dress. In the beginning process of Rooney, again, I was just making dresses and trying to find my style and what I wanted to really focus on. So this next dress was one of those dresses that I took to our family vacation, and I wore it so often during that trip. It was so easy to just throw on over a swimsuit or in the morning or lounging around. It's one of those dresses that you just want to wear to the farmer's market. I self-drafted it myself. It's basically just an oversized t-shirt with slits on the side. Okay, now we're getting into the Betty dress, which you'll be able to see that I've made a lot of them, and this is the first dress that I actually designed to have made into a pattern for Rooney, and this is what I call the epitome of my dream dress, the dress that I want to wear all the time, and the dress that I do wear all the time. So when I am designing for Rooney, I just think of what I like to throw on that's easy, that is not fussy, but it kind of helps me to express my style. And I would say I don't feel like I am ahead of the curve or even at the curve of fashion. I just design what I like to wear. I design things that are easygoing and laid back, and this dress, I feel, is a culmination of those things, and I have loved making this dress. Every time I make it, I see how easy it is, and I feel like I learned something new and something new that I want to add to it. So along the way, I've added pockets to the dress, I've changed up the materials, I've added different, what are these called? Ties. I've added different ties and lengths. I just am so happy with how this dress has turned out, and I love to see you make it as well and how you are putting your own spin on it. I have just loved the whole process of the Betty dress. So this denim version of the Betty dress, I changed up a lot about it. I made it shorter, and then I actually smocked the top of it. So I went through the whole process of this in another video, so I won't go through it now, but I loved changing up this Betty dress. I also made a smock dress for my daughter for the first time. My mom actually smocked many of my dresses growing up, so I loved being able to try something new and learn a new skill. I'm going to try to smock another dress for her soon to keep practicing those skills, so I'm excited to see how that goes. And next we'll talk about the lounge sets that I've made. I designed this and I made the first mock-up, which is the green lounge set right here, and I made it before a long plane ride, and I'm so glad I did. I got to kind of test it out and see what I wanted to change about it. So some of the pockets changed, the links of things changed, but this is the first mock-up. I've also made it in this heather almond fleece, and it is so soft. It's from Blackbird Fabrics. And I also made it in this waffle knit, and since this was such a light material, I lined it by just making 2 of each pattern piece and sewing it like I was sewing the regular pattern. I'll move on to talk about the things that I've made for my daughter, and she's actually grown out of a lot of these things already, which is so crazy. But the first thing is this little gingham pink dress that she is just now fitting into, because when I made it, I self-drafted it and she was so young and I just was kind of winging things, and it actually marked a very special moment for me. We were in here together sewing. Well, she was just lounging, but I was sewing, and it was one of those marker moments where I knew I wanted to make patterns for other people and offer them the same experience that I was having in that moment. So this little gingham dress is one that is special to us. The next thing that I made was this little blue dress. It was actually one that I missed the window for her to fit into. I think when she could fit into it, it was winter, but it was one of those things that was fun for me to make for her, and it's very sweet. I should probably make it again in her size. Next are these little baby bloomers. I have been making these non-stop for Willow because when she's wearing just like a t-shirt or a onesie, these are easy to throw on and it looks like she's wearing an actual outfit, and they're so easy to make. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to release the pattern for this, so let me know below if you're looking for something like this for babies. And then finally, the Lois wrap onesie for Willow. She actually isn't fitting into these anymore, so I'm currently making her some new ones. And then the Rhodes overalls, I've made her a few pairs of these. It doesn't have a lot of fuss to it, and that's how I felt about these overalls. With the tie detail, I can change it up, or I can put elastic on the legs or a button. Whatever it is, it's easy to throw on, and I love that about children's clothes. Through making my clothes, I've learned a lot, and one of the main things I've learned is how much time and detail goes into every part of constructing a garment for yourself or for a little kid. Even when it's a baby garment, you might even put so much more care into it because it's smaller details, and babies need to wear something that's more comfortable, that they can move freely in, and that. So when I'm seeing something that's made at the store or something, I have this bigger appreciation for the person that was on the other side of creating that garment, and it just makes you see so many more of the details. And when my friend is wearing a dress, I'm taking note of the hem length or the size of the sleeves and the color and how all of it is just working together. And I love seeing the care that someone else has put into making something. It's really made me pause and be very contemplative before I purchase another garment, because I want to make sure it's fair all around. So it's making me ask the question of where was this made, who made it, how were they paid for this item, and it's really made me look into sustainable practices more. The whole process of making something just makes you appreciate the details, and it makes you realize that things take time and good things take time. So when you are slowing down and being immersed in that process of making something and then being able to try it on and redo a couple things, or you try it on and it's perfect, whether it's that or you need to tweak a few things, it's really just making a bigger appreciation for the whole process. And the more you start to make things, I have realized the fabrics that I like and that I don't like to wear. A lot of it is time and trial and error and figuring out what I like and how certain fabrics drape and how they feel on my skin and on my baby's skin. It is a process. There's things that I've made in the beginning where the fabric is a little too itchy or thick, and especially in the summer you want something that's light and breezy and soft, and that gets better with age. I've also learned to invest and splurge on nicer fabrics because it's going to make me want to reach for that garment because I know how it feels and I am confident wearing it and I like it. And so it's all with trial and error, and it's things that I've learned along the way. Of course, this isn't an exhaustive list. This is just the clothes that I've made for myself personally and for my daughter. I've made things for photo shoots and for other women to wear, which I have enjoyed making, and I'm excited to continue to work on some projects. I'm making a mini version of the Betty dress right now in another denim fabric. If you can't tell by now, I like denim. With Rooney, I'm working on the Betty dress for little girls. So if you have a little girl that is a little bit older, then I have the pattern coming out for that soon. But this was fun to walk through the things that I've made over the past couple years, and I'm excited to make one of these in the future and continue to make clothes and see how that process evolves and what I continue to learn through making clothes.